Welcome gamers to this Let's Play series of Age of Wonders 4. We're going to be playing with the Empires and Ashes DLC and the new Golem update. Both these things actually do add some pretty amazing things to the game itself. I think that it improves it a lot. Like, I won't say exponentially, because it was for me it was already an incredibly good game, but it does sort of just add more content, different ways of looking at the game, different ways of playing the game as well. The content is meaningful, so it's not just a bit of fluff on top. Also with the Golem update, there's a lot of things have been streamlined and changed to sort of make more sense of the way that you then play the game. So I think that there'll be something for everyone in this particular game. But before I get started, I do want to actually sort of, first of all, welcome anyone to my channel. I do want to thank my Patreon supporters, or whether you support me through coffee.com. But there's actually now, I've got a tangible benefit for anyone who does want to become a member of my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this, well, you're only going to be seeing this on YouTube. But if you're interested, because I always like to at least have something to give back. Like with my Patreons, I'm allowed, like I can actually, I've got like a Patreon only area on my Discord, for example. But you know, not that that's a major benefit. But finally, I think being a YouTube member of my channel will now actually have a big benefit, because just this week YouTube has actually changed to allow me to put up videos, and usually I just schedule them. I will have might have like 10 videos or something sort of uploaded at a time, just scheduled for the future. Sometimes it's not that many, but it's usually around about that sort of number. And what I can now do is I can say schedule it for that date for the public, but members can watch it in the meantime. So that will allow you to basically just get ahead of the game if you are interested. So at least I think that is a good tangible benefit now to become a channel member. So I did want to mention that. I'll probably be mentioning that a little bit with my videos in future, because I do actually think that's a good thing. So anyway, I'm only just starting to do that. I've already got a few videos up there at this stage in that sort of category. Anyway, we'll see how we go. So you're probably going to get sick of me saying that. Well, hopefully you won't be. Right, what have we got? Let's just go in. I'm going to go through and set up a new game. I'm going to try to get through pretty quickly so we can sort of get into the actual game itself, and then we'll just, you know, sort of start something up and see how we go. So if I just go across, no big changes in the settings. There is in the Pantheon. The Pantheon has now got a few other different areas. Let's just go and have a look at the Pantheon. Where do we see those? I should have, that should be in there, my Pantheon. The rewards, here we go. So we now have a whole other section back over through here. So we've got a whole heap of stuff in through this other side. And I think that this has been changed as well, I think. Or maybe, yes, it has. So we've now got different sorts of banners and things. So we're getting extra things now added to the Pantheon. So I haven't had a good look at this. I don't know. There's Merciless Slavers, for example. This is a different way of playing these. So that we now actually do have a whole lot of other things we can now start to unlock, which is cool. So again, when you're playing the game, don't just quit a game. Always at least surrender, or, you know, if you're not going to keep on playing, just finish the game off in terms of just, you know, make sure that you don't just delete it, but you actually do say, okay, I give up, I surrender, whatever, because you will at least get some Pantheon points, unless it's turn 1, for example. So there's a lot of stuff in through here as well. So we've got a whole other different section coming off on the other side. I'm not sure which ones would relate to the DLCs. Quite often it will then sort of tell you where they are. I'm guessing that none of these are DLC related, I'm assuming. Like this one here is this one's a different way of playing the game. I don't know if there's been any additions in through here. A lot of this is just fluff, you know, like it's not really all that important. Just different crowns and things you can then unlock. So just cosmetic changes. By the way, I am playing with some, I've got all the mods that I have been playing with in the past and stripped out anything that changes the actual parameters of the game, but I've left all the cosmetics in. So it's cosmetically, there'll be a few additions to the standard game, but nothing in terms of gameplay. All right, let's just go back out. So that's one thing. So I thought I'd just show you that one through there. Let's just go to a new game and show you what else there is that's actually now come back in. So what we actually have is we've got we've got a new story realm. There's the original story realm up through there, and then we've now got a new one, which is, you can see it in the bottom there. It says Age of Wonders 4, Empires and Ashes. And so this is actually like something where it progresses a story about what's her name, Larissa, and Edmund, the Dreadnought. So the Dreadnought player is basically the enemy in that one, and you've got Larissa who's sort of helping you to do. I don't know if there's any other ways to play that one. Anyway, that's the story realm. Goes through a series of different things. I was tempted to play that. We might even have a look at this one through here. This one here is this is a tier 2 realm, Seals of Power. This is a new thing that's come into the game. An ancient Chrysula land scattered with mystical seals of power. The one who can control the seals can claim the realm for themselves. And so this is one where we do actually have. It says Chrysura, which is interesting because that's actually that Chrysura land is essentially a. I think it's. I don't know if it's in here. Does it mention it? Yes, no. It's got the birds of paradise. This is like a bird land. There's not that much more that's been added into the actual. Like if we go and try to create this particular realm itself in through here, it's tier 2, so it's not that can be that difficult. I might play that actually. I might play that because if we go and try to create that one as an example, there's nothing new in here that I can see. So there's nothing that's really sort of showing up in this other side. We've got Scorch. Yeah, there's nothing new in there either. Then we come now. It may just be because I'm actually using an early access. There may be other things that do come in. We're seeing things like lingering creators. This is going to giants and demi-giants. I don't know if that was actually in this one before. See, I think that we're not able to actually choose some of the stuff we're seeing, like a bird land. I'm surprised that we can't. So I'm thinking that maybe the version I've got it'll be different at launch. I would assume, because also we don't actually we've got the dragon update, like the Ashen War, but we don't actually have anything here. So I'm half assuming there will be other things that may come in by the time the game actually does launch. Well, today, basically, but I'm recording this a few days out. Back and through here as well. We do actually have these, which are the world seals. This is a different way of actually playing the game now. So seals are present on this realm. Capturing them will lead to a seals victory. So we'll play this. We'll definitely make sure we do play a seals game. So we've got world seals. We've got seals active. So seals are present on this realm. Capturing them will lead. Fewer seal points are required to achieve victory, so we can sort of do it a bit faster. Or dormant. And so in this case, more seal points are required to achieve victory. So I think we'll just play with world seals and just to see how that one does actually go. So that's a different way of actually then achieving victory. Anything else that we might see down through here? Yeah, no, they're all the same. Oh, here we go. This is chaotic influence. There's a couple of them here actually. Chaotic influence. So this is each strategic turn, all rulers gain a stacking negative empire relation modifier with each other. That's pretty cool. And we've also then got motivated truce back through here as well. Waging war is discouraged on this one. So grievances are now less impactful. So you can go if you're not enjoying the game one way or another. If you want it more aggressive or less aggressive, you can now use both of those. I think that's the only other changes that are actually in here. Yeah. So there's yes, not a hell of a lot of other things back in through there. There's those miscellaneous traits. So anyway, that's the realm setup. I'll just go back out, and if we have a look at this one here, so we've got world seals, low population, small underground, and continents, which should be fine. Let's just go and play this one up. I haven't tried this one at all. It's only a tier 2, which means it's not going to be super difficult. Now, in terms of if we just go across and just go select, so we can actually edit this. Yeah, there's nothing else we can do there. Okay, I'll just go next.
Your journey starts here.
Now, the new factions, the new additions into here. We now have avians. So I won't be playing these because I think everyone's going to be playing them. So I thought I'd play something a bit different. That's a new version. The other big thing here, and this is actually really, really big for those of you who have gotten bored with the game, what you're going to find is that you've now got the traits are down in here rather than all being on the right hand side. There was a very common comment that the game was boring because all the races just dissolved into one, and you could have super strong halflings or really weak orcs, whatever you wanted to go and do. Now the game still kept them realistically where they actually were, but now it's a little bit more hidden. And the other big change with this is that it's now based on points. So if we go to change this one, for example, you can see that we've got like 1 point traits back and through here. So we've got 3 of them. Adaptable, where they get experience a bit faster. Elusive. And so this one here, they're great for mobile hit and run tactics. So they gain plus to 4 defense and resistance. Sharp eyes, they can see further. And then this in the 2 point traits, they've got light footed and things like this. Now, where this is also really, really cool is that you basically you've got 5 points to spend to sort of then create your faction. So you can still go and change it, but then they've got other things, for example, like the dire bear mounts have just come in. I won't play with them. I was considering playing with the dire bear mounts in the actual game itself. So any of the special mount units, ways of playing the game, which were always completely overpowered. They've all gone now, and so they're not really like they're going to cost you points. So it's no longer just select one of those and something else, and then you've got like a super powerful army. That's a time of the past, which is fine. But so you can still override for your own faction if you're wanting to. I'm sort of tempted to not change it for like just so we play with like I'm going to be playing as the dwarves, I think, sort of the faction I was thinking of actually playing as. But we've got there's a few of them in through here. One that was added in just now as well is Hideous Stench. I've never liked this in the Age of Wonders games, where they actually have like a stench aspect to it, where there was where it sort of affected the resistances of others. It's almost not as bad as the old halfling luck, not the luck from this game, but the halfling luck from Age of Wonders 3, which was just abysmal. But I used to hate also the stench aspect of Age of Wonders 3 as well. So I'm disappointed to see that one raising its head again into the game. It does impact just resistances and status resistance. I don't like it, but anyway, that's sort of just me, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting to sort of see what they've done through here. So I do like what they've got. Now, another aspect I like about this is the fact that we're not just constrained to just 2 traits anymore. We now can have whatever the points are that we can spend. So in this case, these avian forms by default have got 4 different traits. So they've got adaptable, elusive, and sharp eyes, and then the new one that's come in is now light-footed, and so it allows for better positioning by being able to move through friendly units, which will change the way combat is now played out. So I can see more and more things actually coming into this particular way of playing, or like this particular I can see these traits becoming really quite important over time to really start to give a good feel for the different races. Now, when you play the game, they tend to just be from whatever the selection is in through here. So if you are thinking, okay, I've got orcs, but what type of orcs are they? Are they little piss weak, halfling orcs, or are they really big, strong orcs? The orc traits, again, you can sort of see them through here. We've got ferocious, so they deal 40% damage via retaliation attacks and opportunity attacks. They're strong, so melee and physical range attacks deal +2 damage, and they also then have extra hit points, so 8, they're hardy. So these have now got like 3 different traits to them. They're no longer just the 2 that was there before, and so the orcs will feel like orcs. The halflings will feel like halflings. They've still got elusive, so they can still get these gains extra defense and resistance against retaliation attacks and opportunity attacks. I'm happy with that. They also have quick reflexes, so they're harder to hit with by ranged attacks. I'm happy with that. And also they now actually have light-footed, so they can now move through each other to position themselves. I'm happy with that. So for me, this is a halfling. The goblins have now changed as well. They've actually now got this stinky, hideous stench aspect, which I know is sort of thematic, and it's also then tied in with sneaky as well. So they plus 25% damage on flanking attacks, but this one here does reduce the resistance and status resistance of anything that comes close to a goblin. So we will be playing the game differently from now on, which is really quite interesting. Let's just go and sort of build a dwarf. Where's the dwarves? I won't go through all of them, but the dwarves have got, so these have now got the defensive tactics, so units become tougher when standing next to other dwarven units. So when we have dwarves next to dwarves, it's almost like a shield wall, Again, it feels good. It feels like it's thematic. +1 defense, +1 resistance, and +10% evasion when standing next to a friendly unit with defensive tactics. It doesn't stack. It's just a single thing. But to get that extra defense and resistance, just by it brings the dwarves are not lone fighters. These are going to come in and then sort of defend against whatever enemy is coming. So this will be important. Playing as the dwarves, you'll be playing more defensively than offensively. If you're playing the orcs, you're going to be trying to get in close and get opportunity attacks. So that's sort of you'll be playing differently no matter who you actually do go and play. You've then got tough as well, so you got +2 defense, not against magical but against physical, and then you've also got the +8 hit points like the orcs. So the orcs have got the same aspect in through there. I'll just show you elves as well because these are also a bit different now. So arcane focus, magic attacks deal 15% damage. Then we've got keen sighted, so range shots hit more often. So +20% accuracy on physical range and magic attacks, which is great. And then they also see further. Again, it feels good. And if we wanted to make a dark elf, you just change a few of the traits around. But it's but for me, the thematic aspect of the game really is in here. I sort of hope that what they end up doing is actually end up with multiple sort of, I guess, selections of traits, because I think that these have to be somehow communicated during the game. Like not just as in the name of the actual of the force that you have, but knowing what these are, I think will really add to the immersion. So I hope that the Triumph Studios and Paradox actually do somehow add something in. I've put a suggestion in that they add a little icon in the battle area to sort of show that this is not just what type of unit it is, but also what race it's from. Now it's things like, for example, the elves can come in you can sort of set these up in whichever way you want, but it would be, I think, nice to sort of know, dark elves, for example, may have spider mounts and things like this. So it'd be cool to have a few different types of elvish forces, that would be then available to choose from. For example, just so things that are not just purely this sort of theme, if you know what I mean. So anyway, these are all if we go and change any of these will all still add up to 5. So everything has just got 5 points. I really like this. I did want to talk a bit about this, and I think I've spoken too much about it already. So anyway, I am happy with that one. We're going to be, as I say, playing the dwarves. We'll just go select.
What is the
Now,
origin culture?
The new one that we have is the Reavers. Now the Reavers, what are they? These are interesting. Sort of think in terms of conquistadors, from in the Spanish conquistador type thing. They do actually they're using gunpowder weapons, so they're not really dreadnoughts. They're not the dreadnoughts of Age of Wonders 3. They're not steampunk either, but they're sort of heading that way, but in a fairly sort of loose fashion. It's more medieval than it's medieval gunpowder. Not Renaissance gunpowder, if that makes any sort of sense. So that's sort of how these ones do work. They're a combination of chaos and materium. So we've got the two different affinities back in through this other side. And you'll see through here, a society of industrial opportunists, pragmatic and brutal. They combine the material and the arcane, expending their dominion through conquests and hunts. Structures have production and mana income. Units are specialised in focusing down marked targets with focused aggression. So marking your targets is a new concept now, where you need to sort of have identify a target. They become weaker, essentially. They become less elusive. There's a fair few different ways of actually approaching the game now in this particular version. And a lot of these I'm not sure if they're all just coming through Empires and Ashes or how many come through with the Golem update. I think a lot are coming through with the Golem update. So we don't start off with the Whispering Stone anymore, so I'll just go back into there. So the Whispering Stone is gone. Oops, there we go. Come on, give it to me. Yeah, there we go. So the Whispering Stone, we don't actually have a Whispering Stone at the start. Total war is not what it sounds like. So we get no Imperium income penalties from war without war justification. What this means is we don't have to have a justified war. We can just decide to declare war whenever we feel like it. So we're very much like a loose cannon. the way it does work. We also have war spoils. So war spoils are a unique resource gathered by the Reavers through conquest and battle with empires and with free cities. They can be used to intimidate and extort free cities or other empires. This is a different way of having diplomacy, but only for the Reavers. So gaining war spoils and using war spoils is different information through there about how we do different things. So when we go up against, when we find other cities, we're going to be wanting to sort of dominate those or other empires. Because we will then get our war spoils, and the war spoils, if we go back down to using war spoils, we use these to boost the allegiance, like what a Whispering Stone sort of did with the other factions. But it's a much more aggressive mindset and an aggressive way of actually playing. So now I'm guessing that there'll be a lot of content about the avians as Reavers, but I thought the dwarves as Reavers actually made sense to me. So I'm going to go and play as them. Humans, of course, would be good as well. Orcs would be good as well. So all of these different sorts of fairly strong factions would be fairly cool. Now, the different types of units that we see through here, we end up with a skirmisher unit back over through here, which is, so the skirmisher unit has got a net that it throws on different units, which is fairly good, but it's then got sort of like a light attack. These aren't all that great. We also have a tier 1, so this is a tier 1 unit. We have a tier 1 unit back over here, which is essentially just a polearm unit. So we've got a low-level polearm unit. Then we have also a scout unit, and these are fairly interesting in the terms that they can mark other units and identify them as targets, but don't do any actual damage themselves. They don't even blow up, from what I sort of saw when I assumed that they would actually have an explosive death, but they, like when I played it, they didn't. So I'm not sure if that's going to come or not. It sort of almost feels like it should have an explosive death. But anyway, these are just literally your scout units. Then we've at tier 2, we end up with this is our archer unit, which essentially is like a musketman, and the muskets are very, very powerful, but you cannot move. So if you don't have multiple shots, you've just got the one shot. Now, if you've played Age of Wonders 3, there's no reload time, so you can't move. You've got it's all 3 action points to fire it. So if you you have to really keep them protected and away from other units, because if they end up in the zone of control of another unit, they're not going to be able to fire their weapon. And it's the only thing that they can really do. But it's extremely powerful when they actually get to do that one. So just be aware that this is a very, very strong archer unit, but also very, very limited in the way it works. This is why I think the dwarves are a good faction to play with this one. If you build your build around having very, very strong dwarven units protecting these sort of units. And then in tier 3 we end up, tier 2, we've also got like another support unit back over through here, which also will then blind other units, so it can actually sort of use blinding. And then finally in tier 3 we have another skirmisher unit back in through here, which is really quite interesting. Now I'm going to change the mount on these because we now have bears in the game, so the one that I'll be choosing will actually will have bears. These here, these are cool because they get half their movement points after they do an attack, and they also can just go straight through the. They can actually zip straight into in amongst the enemy if they need to, and they're really quite strong. So these are our Cap 3 units. If we press F1, we can then bring these up. We can go to units. I'll just sort of show you these. I might as well just do it this way. If we go across to Reaver down the bottom there, and so these are those different units. The Dragoon is the Cap 3, and of course we can then just go and choose. This is going to be a Dwarven unit. So this is our Dwarven unit. Now we can, I think, change the anyway. I can't see it here where we can sort of change the actual the mount itself, but I've got these on bears. Essentially, this is the way that they sort of work. And so these have got like a melee strike of 16, which is a repeating strike. They've got the harrying shot, which does 28 points, and this is actually a ride in and then fire the pistol. Now you can ride in, fire, and then move back out again. So these are very, very, very good units, like in terms of just being able to really skirmish in a cavalry type way. It's real, almost like pike and shot, with the shot aspect of the pike and shot. not the musketeers. What were they? I forget the name of them. Anyway, the ones that were the cuirassiers. No, the ones that were on the horseback. Where they had the pistol. And they'd sort of be able to ride up and fire away. This is what these guys are. These are modelled exactly like that. So they've got things, for example, like focus aggression, where they gain 10% damage per stack of marked on the target. Master skirmisher. So after attacking, this unit regains half their action points. Slippery, this unit does not trigger opportunity attacks, so again it can move in and out of battle however it feels like. It really isn't sort of, it's extremely good. It's not like, it's a bit of it does a lot of different things, so they're quite interesting. So they're not super powerful like for example a sword unit, like a shield type unit, but they just do an awful lot, and they're swift as well. This unit ignores the effects of slowing terrain in combat, so a very, very elusive skirmisher unit. So we've got sort of skirmisher unit back through there. It's mounted. Land movement can move over land hexes, and this unit is mounted on an animal. Now we're going to have bears for our particular run through. That's a dragoon. The Harrier is the other skirmisher, and so this is the skirmisher in through here, who has now got the net, so cast net back in through there, and there is actually a chance to immobilise it 90%, and also mark it for 3 turns. So again, the more you mark something, the better off. Focused aggression we're going to see everywhere. Attacks gain 10% damage per stack of marked on the target. So all of our units really have that particular ability. Now we also have one that we didn't see. Oh, we did see it in the other one. It's the Mage Lock Cannon. I'll come back. I'll just start with the tier 1s. We've got the Mercenary. The Mercenary is literally just a polearm unit. So we've got an ability here of Drive Back. And what Drive Back will then go and do, it will actually push the target backwards. And so we end up with deal damage to the target, push them back, and move into their hex. And so we can sort of get like a rolling line moving up against the enemy with this particular attack. So it sort of does a lot of damage in through there. Again, we've got First Strike because it's a polearm, Focused Aggression, and it's a Mercenary. So unit upkeep is increased by +2 gold. So you don't want to have too many of these, but they are good for a tier 1 unit. So they're like a tier 1.5. Just the way you'd sort of think of them, but they've got other abilities beyond just a normal sort of polearm type unit in through there. The other one we had was the Observer. Again, we've just got immune to effects that make you lose control. They're heartless, so it has a -50% modifier on morale changes, good or bad. Non-vital, so non-vital units are destroyed if only non-vital units remain. So if it's the only thing in an area, it's going to be destroyed. Reinforced, so has a +4 defense against physical range attacks, and Sensing Scope unit has +3 sensing range. So doesn't have an actual attack itself. When we go back into the level 2s, we then actually have the Mage Lock, and so this is our musketman, essentially. Fire the heavy Mage Lock, 36 damage, but 3 action points, as I said before. Take aim is basically, this will always hit, so apply mark to the target, then enter defensive mode. So if we have to move, like if we have to do something like this, we can't use this when we're in the enemy zone of control, similarly with that one through there. But if we have to move off, and we don't actually have, or if we don't have all of our action points, we can still at least add a marked to one of the enemy targets. So that's a really very, very powerful unit with this one through here. So I'm hoping to sort of make good use of this. The other tier 2 that we have is the Overseer, which is a support unit, and this has got marking blast, which does a fire blast. It does subdue as well. So 90% chance to link with and inflict subdued. Target must be affected by immobilized, frozen, or stunned. So cannot affect heroes or units with control loss immunity. This effect ends if the caster dies. So what we can end up doing is, there's another way of playing as the Reavers, where we essentially, like if we use our tier 1, mercenary, the tier 1 Harrier with the net immobilizes. If we've got these guys in through here, the tier 2 Overseers, they can then try to subdue. And so this is always a range 3, so they can work in fairly well with those other skirmisher type units. And at the end of the combat, there's a way that we can then try to sort of take over those particular units. So we can ultimately sort of keep them under our control after combat. Patch Up is just a healing. This one through here heals 40 temporary hit points, which is again it's a fair few hit points that we sort of see through there. So these are very, very useful units. The tier 3s that we saw there, the Dragoon we started off with. So these are sort of like our tier 3s. Then we have the Mage Lock Cannon back in through here as well. So the Fire Cannon is again, so units in a 3 hex line, so we actually do end up doing a lot of damage to 3 units in a line. It's got a defensive mode, control loss immunity, focused aggression, heartless reinforced, and a siege breaker. When part of a sieging army, this unit contributes to +1 fortification damage. Now, it is a construct, so it's immune to bleeding, disease, distracted, and poisoned. It's heartless. Sorry, it's got control loss immunity. It is heartless, but it is resistant. It's not very good against shock damage. So that's sort of where this one sort of does sort of fall. There is another one that we can get that's very similar to this, where we can still have 1 shot, but it's not. It doesn't take up 3 action points. So this one always hits at range 5. So it's always going to hit, but it's at all 3 action points means we can't move it. But there is one in sieges you can bring in as part of your siege weaponry to then actually have those actually go where they can move and fire. I think I can move and fire. I may have them wrong. Yeah, I can't remember that. I think they are just these actually, Mage Lock Cannons. Anyway, that's where we sort of are with it is here. So I'm sort of been playing it and trying to sort of get my head around what's actually in here and what's not in here. So that's actually where we are. The changes with Reavers. So we're just going to select.
What defines this?
Now, there's nothing much in here that has come through with the like. There's things we can unlock in the Pantheon, but nothing much else that's come through in this case. But there are a few things that are interesting, like Reclaimers. They believe anything can be reforged into something better, but before that can be done, it must be reclaimed. So you gain Binding Essence for clearing infestation spawners, clearing ancient wonders, raising cities. Now, Binding Essence, you start with an. Hang on, I'll just go to Reclaimers. This is a good one for the Reavers. Come on, I don't want to do it. There we go. We're in there. So clearing ancient wonders, raising cities, and pillaging provinces. And so this one here, we end up gaining the Binding Essence. So Binding Essence is the remains of magical items. And this is now new in the Golem update, where we can now start to forge items. We've now got an item forge, which we don't have to research. We've got it there the whole time, but we can get better and better stuff. This is so cool what they've done with this as well, by the way. You'll see this when we get into the actual game. You start with an additional 200 of this Binding Essence to be able to build magical items. The capital city starts with the Wizard Tower item forge. And maybe you do need this one. I've been playing with this the whole time, so I assumed you could just build it without it. So this one unlocks the item forge, allowing you to create custom hero items using the Binding Essence. There we go. So I've just been playing with it because I like the feel of it. So I've got that one in there as well. Runesmiths, there's a few of them that are interesting that for the way that you may want to sort of play and start. I forget which ones I've actually chosen for the start that we're going to actually be playing. But Reclaimers definitely want to go there. I did split it up a little bit, I think, unless I went with Runesmiths. Yeah, the Racial Shield and Polearm units have +1 rank. Unit enchantments cost -30% upkeep. That's a good one for us as well. Unit enchantment research costs -30% knowledge to unlock. Start with an extra shield unit or polearm unit, so we'd end up with an extra polearm. There was one that you end up with the tier 3 unit. I forget which one that is. It might be this one here. Yeah, this one here is the one that we're playing with. So this one you unlock in your Pantheon. So they demand perfection of the artisans, taking their time to build marvels like no other. So city structures cost 100% more production, but grant +1 city stability and +5 gold, in addition to their normal effects. So it's slow to build up your cities with this particular one. Racial unit tier 3 units have +1 rank, and the city cap is decreased by -1. So we have less cities we can actually have. So we'd be playing a tall game with this rather than a wide game, and we do start with an extra tier 3 unit. So I thought that was a good one to show the tier 3 units actually in the game. There's a few of the other ones like Fabled Hunters. I think we start with a ranged unit. That's our tier 2 unit. So that's a good start as well. Going back in, there's also 2 different ways of playing this. Anyway, I won't continue on with this. I've sort of now covered that aspect. Let's just go and start a new game. So we'll just go back out.
What is their origin
And
culture?
we will go and play on this one here. So Seals of Power. Just go and select that one. I'll just play it on normal difficulty just so it doesn't last too long. And we'll just go and I'll play it with 7 players. Yeah, why not? Let's just do it that way. Relative map size just on medium will be fine. So we'll just leave it there as well. Classic turn systems. Just go into advanced settings. I don't think there's anything new in here. Yeah, no, this is all the setups in through here. That's okay. We'll just confirm that one. So we do have seals. This is a seals game, which is new, as I say, with the DLC.
Your journey.
So we'll confirm that one, and I did create a custom one. I've created a few different ones in through here, but I'll play with the one that we had at the top. God, where is it? There we go. Gilded Crest, the Dwarven Reavers. And so this is a Wizard King that we're sort of playing with. So this one, he gets extra mana. I thought of going that way because I hardly ever play with Wizard Kings. I tend to just play with the heroes. So we've got the races of Dwarven Reavers. So, and again, we've just got defensive tactics, tough and hardy. So just the defaults for dwarves. Reavers, I've got the Reclaimers and the Perfection Artisans back and through there as well. And my ruler is starting with the Lightning Orb, Hero Mount, and Magecraft. And I did choose bears as the mount type that we sort of ended up having. So that's what we've got. That should be it, I think. So we'll just go with that one there. I don't know what's going to happen with these other ones now. These have got Human and Bulwark. So these are old ones. I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. Yeah, it's not actually hasn't been updated. So we might have to get rid of the old style. We'll see what happens when they come into the game. Anyway, let's just go and select this faction. Travelling to the realm. Here we go through the gates. There's a new background there for it. So this is a Reaver city with the with sort of like an airship up above. So Gilded Crest, a new ruler emerges. Explore your surrounds and expand your domain. Prepare to face your rivals and become the master of this realm. Your choices will shape the new Age of Wonders. So we do start off with the Tome of Enchantment. So improve your units with unit enchantments. Specialise in physical damage. So that's one we do actually get started with. As I said, we're Dwarfkin, Reavers, Reclaimers, Perfection Artisans. Just click on OK. We start off with a Summon the Copper Golem. Comes back in and suppressing Barrage. Now the actual magic that we have, I'll just get started with this and then we'll actually, in the next episode, we'll then start to play properly. So now I did actually choose that. I should have shown there is a new tome. I'll show the tome library. There's a new tome that does come in, and I didn't choose it because for me it didn't feel like it was the right one. The Tome of Alchemy is a combination nature and materium. It does bring this dispersing miasma. Again, I don't like the miasma in the game. Mysterious tonic, fumigation, material refinery. These are actually all okay for us to then go and get. The Afflictor is sort of like a ranged unit with a repeater crossbow and a miasma shot. So again, this would work very, very well for the goblins and things like this, I guess, but I didn't feel like it really played into the theme of what we were doing. But this is actually a new tome that has come back through. I don't know what other ones there are. I've turned off all the modded ones. This is Severing. Not sure if that was there before. Yeah, this is the golems. Severing golems and things like this. There's a tier 4. There may be other ones as well, because we do get more sort of golems and things coming into it. Actually, they're all over the place. Anyway, there's things happening in the game. So there are new tomes. I won't go through what they all actually are, but In our case, the Seeker arrows is going to be probably as important as anything, because the skirmisher units are going to be able to make use of this. The Sundering Blades, this will also then work with our skirmisher units and the polearm units, but I think I'm going to go Seeker arrows. So we're going to start off there. All right, set production back in through this other side. Now, what have we got around us? We've got a farmland in through there, so we'll end up with farms. We'll end up with mines, and we'll end up with quarries. What we probably won't end up getting initially is going to be foresters, but we will eventually. So with the workshops, these have down the bottom there, the boost is a farm, the vendor is a farm, the storehouse is a forester. So let's start with the forester. You can see it's going to be 10 turns to actually go and grab this one rather than the usual 7. So it's just going to take much longer for us to do things. We're going to have to really focus on trying to make sure that we're always boosting what we get. But initially we have to choose something. So the others, that's a forester as well. That's a forester. So actually maybe we should go forester. It may push our strategy around a little bit actually to make sure that we do cover these fairly early on. And then for the other units that we can get, I'm thinking I just go with another Harrier unit. Now these are going to cost me, you can see down there, it's 10 upkeep for that one. It's only 8 upkeep for that. So it's a little bit more expensive. But ultimately I'll be needing a few of these. The Harrier, I think I'll just go and grab a Harrier unit back in there for now. Right, so there we are. That's the actual units. Let's just leave it here, and then in the next episode we'll come back in. Where are we in the world? It's sort of in the bottom right-ish, sort of, with a road that extends out on the other side there. All right, well, I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Remember, if you are a channel member, you will be able to just go and watch a number of these right from the very, very start. If you're watching, if you're watching this one, if you're watching this one on launch day, and you are a member of my YouTube channel, then you will be able to then access the videos that I've got scheduled. There should be a fair few of them, as in maybe 4 or 5, I would think. So anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next exciting episode when we get started.